This episode is brought to you by Pisces Pros. For Memorial Day weekend, I've talked them into giving you an amazing 50% off everything on their site. That's right. At PiscesPros.com, you can get 50% off everything on their site. It ends Memorial Day. Use the promo code America at checkout and save 50% off everything on PiscesPros.com. You got to check out their spirulina. You got to check out their Frenzy Flake. 50% off everything on PiscesPros.com. Memorial Day sale, 50% off. Use the promo code America at checkout. And now check out my interview with George Farmer. What's up, Fish Tank people? FishTankTV.com. Dustin's Fish Tanks. Rocking the old FishTankTV.com t-shirt for this because I'm excited, folks, because I have from across the pond, the guy just got done eating dinner. It's the afternoon here. Mr. George Farmer in the house. I'm so pumped, man. He's like my British brother from another mother. We're going to go through George Farmer's top 5 aquascapes. For those of you who don't know George Farmer, I'm going to link up all kinds of sick videos to his stuff. But I met him at the AGA. He was actually the keynote speaker. He came in, gave a great talk. Some of you Golden Silverfish members have seen some of the other stuff I've done with him in the past. But this is the top 5 aquascapes with George Farmer. George, say hello, man. Introduce yourself, and let's talk about some fish tanks, man. What's going on?
Yeah, hi, Dustin. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me along again, Dustin. It's good to see you guys.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, I'm just going to talk about 5 of my aquascapes. It's really tricky choosing my top 5 because each one's special in its own right for me. I tend to create a lot of aquascapes because it's my job effectively, so I kind of turn them over quite quickly. But I think the 5 that you'll see, they give a wide sort of diverse range of my styles, and hopefully you'll gain some inspiration and learn a few things along the way. So. Should we move on, Dustin?
Yeah, let's move on real quick.
Or have you got any questions?
Yeah, I want okay. People to know you write for Practical Fish Keeping over in the UK.
Yeah. So a bit of history. I was in the Royal Air Force for 14 years. Whilst I was doing that, I wrote for Practical Fish Keeping. I co-founded the UK Aquatic Gardeners Society in 2007. That has about 11,000 members now. I write, Practical Fish Keeping since 2006, pretty much on a monthly basis. I'm on their Ask the Expert panel. I've just started writing for Amazonas magazine as well regularly, so that's pretty cool. I've done talks, done keynote speaker for the AGA in Washington, judged various aquascaping contests. So I live and breathe aquascaping, and it's kind of my primary mission to promote aquascaping to the UK and beyond, like we're just doing now. So
yeah, and he says he wants a tank in every house.
Yes, my dream is to have an aquascape in every home.
I thought I had a dream, man. That's a better dream than what I got. So, all right, man. Well no, that's great. I've never even said that. I'm like, I can't. It's totally awesome. So, let's bring it, man. Let's see your top 5 aquascapes.
Okay, cool.
Get the party started, man. Go ahead.
Okay. So the first one. So this is called Project Scree. A scree is a collection of rocks at the bottom of a mountain, and hopefully you can kind of see that inspiration in this layout. So it was quite a new kind of type of aquascape for me. This one, I kind of use rocks on top of each other to create kind of like a mound, and you'll see the rock on the left at the back. That's a really key rock, that, because it creates a little bit of tension to the layout. If that wasn't there, it'd just be like a sort of random mountain.
The back left.
Yeah, the back left. The one's jutting up, pointing over to the top left. Yeah, it's quite a key rock. Just minimalistic planting, so Acicularis, Eleocharis acicularis in between the rocks, bright white sand, classic shoulder neon tetras, just kept it really clean, nice photography, ripple effect on the top of the water, and it is probably one of my most critically acclaimed aquascapes, and so for that reason it's one of my favourites.
And let me ask you this, Iwagumi style, I'm assuming that hair grass in there, what are you running in the way of lights?
This was really quite low tech. One T5 tube. So this is a 60 centimeter layout with one 24-watt high output T5 for about 7-8 hours.
Okay.
I was running an external canister about 1,000 liters per hour. So that's what.
Doesn't matter. Make Americans figure it out.
Yeah, 300 gallons per hour maybe. CO2 injection, probably 2 bubbles per second with an inline diffuser.
Okay.
Temperature 23, 24 C, so 73, 72, 73 Fahrenheit. So yeah, really low tech. Change half of the water every week. a couple of millilitres of Tropica specialised fertiliser every day. So yeah, really quite simple. Yeah.
Question
The
for you.
rocks. Yeah, great.
I'm sorry to talk over you. I have a tendency to do that.
No problem.
My question is this, man. I always say the hardscape is the hard part.
Yeah.
How much time do you have in this hardscape?
Actually, it's quite almost fluky. I was just playing with the hardscape in the garage in a separate tank actually, and just like I do, to get the itch to play with rocks, and come up with this leaning on this main stone on the left, leaning up towards pointing over to the right. Come up with that sort of balancing on the two bigger stones to the right, and then I thought that's it. That's going to be the backbone of the layout. So I nailed it quite quickly, to be fair. Yeah.
Sweet.
In the early days, you know, sort of 10 years ago when I started playing around with rocks, I spent days trying to get the right layout, and even then they wouldn't look anywhere near as good as that one. So just practice makes perfect, you know, like anything in this life. You know, the more you do, the easier it gets. So, cool. Shall we move on to the next one?
Sure, man.
Yeah. Okay, so this is called Rooted in Nature, and the reason I called it that is you can see the manzanita wood sort of acting like tree roots coming out of the earth, all covered in mosses. This is Toby. Say hello, Toby.
What's up, Toby?
Toby, you're on video. You're live on video, mate. What? So we've got Ricardia and Piscidins attached to the wood, and I used the blended blender and yogurt technique to attach it with the dry start method. You can see quite a complicated carpet in front there. So Eliocaris mini, which is a tissue cultured plant from Tropica, with the Hemianthus glitchicoides HC mixed in the front, and Cyperus at the top right, some Rotala green, some Ludwigia, some Tenellus, some taller hairgrass at the back left. So yeah, just quite cool. This is another 60cm layout, loads of fine textures, and just a classic triangular layout. So I really like this one. It was really fun to play with.
Leon's 2 tanks in a row. I love it. And then we'll talk. We do need to do another video together, man. But we'll talk about your yogurt technique, because that's just, excuse the pun, but it's really yummy. So. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something soon with that again. Yeah.
Sweet.
Really cool. Yeah. Okay. Any questions, Dustin?
I mean, for me, the first thing that screams out to me with this is the maintenance, because of all of the moss, as a guy who just got done scraping algae or moss out of his 220. So talk to the fish tank people about, I mean, what goes into this, because, I mean, this is a beautiful tank, but, I mean, what is your commitment to this when you get that crazy with the moss on the rocks, or rocks on the driftwood?
Yeah, actually, the Piscidins and Ricardia are relatively slow growing in this layout anyway, so I'll probably only need to touch it once a month or so, maybe once every couple of weeks. The Ricardia you can literally pull off in little chunks. And I was selling that, you know, because it's quite expensive to buy over here, you know, a small portion, sort of 12, 15 pounds, so sort of 20 US dollars for a tiny sort of portion. So yeah, in terms of the moss, it's relatively low maintenance. I have got a video on my YouTube of pruning, how to trim moss and not make any mess. So basically, you attach a 6mm airline to a pair of self-sprung scissors, and you siphon using the airline into a bucket, and as you're trimming the moss, it automatically siphons through the airline into your bucket, so you don't spill any. So that's quite a cool technique.
Click the link to check out the video.
Yeah, so that's really cool. The stem plants were higher maintenance. They're fast growers, but that's just, you know, just give them a hack back, and then they just grow back even bushier. You can only do that. You know, you can't do that too many times, because the lower portions of the stems tend to get unhealthy, because they're getting sort of blocked by light, and, you know, CO2 circulation's disrupted because the plant density is so high. But this is quite early days. This was shot probably 2-3 months into the Aquascape's life, You can still see the hemianthus at the front needs to fill out a bit. But I thought, I took this photo at this stage, and it was it was a nice stage to be. But I'll probably spend 2 hours a week, I guess, in total on this tank on average.
Wow.
So not incredibly high maintenance, but I'm a big fan of little and often. If you see something that looks amiss, just deal with it right there and then, rather than let it get into a massive issue. So.
Beautiful, man.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next. Okay, this is Dustin's favourite.
I won't say it's my favorite, but I definitely wanted to show it.
Yeah, it's very cool. I was kind of commissioned to do this by Practical Fish Keeping, and they wanted a layout for beginners and to prove that you could actually have an attractive aquascape using plastic plants and goldfish. So that's what I set out to do. I think I achieved it. Just rounded pebbles that you can buy from garden centres. Plastic plants you can buy, in pretty much every pet store, I guess, over there, and fancy goldfish. These are quite large actually. This is like a 3 foot by 1.5 by 1.5 foot tank, so about 180 litres. I guess that's what 50 US gallons. Ideally, those fish can get pretty big and they produce a lot of waste. So I had 2 big external filters on here to deal with that. Obviously you can minimise the lighting because the artificial plants don't need any light.
Plasticus artificialis, as I've been known to call them.
Yeah, exactly. When they get algified, you can just whip them out and clean them in a dishwasher or bleach them, or they're just so easy and hardy. You can just do what you like with them. So yeah, just an attractive aquascape, and it's a crowd pleaser, and it shows to the beginners, I can, create something that's relatively attractive and it's not too hard to do, hopefully. I'll get bored with it though, there's no growth there.
Yeah, no, easily get bored with, for sure.
Yeah, but for people that just want a kind of cool tank that they're not bothered about gardening, they're not bothered about CO2, lighting, fertilizers, and it's a nice piece. It's something nice to have in your house.
And for the record, this is not my favorite tank of yours. I just wanted to show the contrast with the goldfish. But
I was just having a bit of fun with you, mate.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man, bring it. Let's see what you got. What's next?
Okay. This tank is quite close to my heart. This is a natural Aquario, 65 centimetre. So it's an old Portuguese company that ADG bought out, but moving on from that. So this is a classic miniature aquarium. Again, I kind of set out just to create something that was nice to look at. Actually, all these plants are easy. So apart from the hemianthus, probably there's some hemianthus mixed in there. So we've got Eleocharis parvula carpet mixed in with some HG. We've got trident fern in the centre there as a focal point with some red Ludwigia above that. Hygrophila polysperma, believe it or not, as the bushy plant in the background, with just some sort of random sprigs of rotala. Some anubias underneath the fern that's shaded, some cryptocorines. So just really easy plants, really. And this is really low maintenance. I didn't, I used to do a water change on this once every 2 weeks. We change about 1/3 of the water. Fairly low CO2 levels with an inline diffuser again. A classic mix of tetras. So you've got Black Widow tetra, Neon tetras, Serpe tetra, a few algae eaters, a few shrimp. And that's it, really. It's just really quite a high impact, attractive, lush looking aquascape that's relatively easy to set up and maintain. So one of my favourites for sure.
How far into your career did you make this tank?
This was, I originally set this up about 18 months ago. Yeah. So I left, separated from my wife, moved into a new accommodation, and what else better to do than set up a new fish tank?
I want to talk about this for a second. You and I have talked offline about PTSD, and we're not going to go there. That's another video, but there's something to be said about the personal, and I'm just going to say emotional connection, with an aquarium. I mean, it's art. You've done art installations, and it's an expression, but there's there's like there's emotions involved in it. You know, like you said, you gave like what went on in your life when you did this, and I've got to believe that some of that is in there. And I know, like in some of my tanks, like this is how I'm feeling. Like this is it, you know. And so
Yeah.
I think that's not as discussed as often, but I think it's definitely apparent.
Yeah, well, I think as let's not let's not mess around. Aquascaping is an art form, okay? And anyone that argues with that, then come and like message me and I'll explain why.
Don't ask to, but
it's and any art is an expression. So it goes without saying that whatever you're going through in your life, that's going to be impacted in how you express yourself and how you create something. So this is why this was quite a big thing for me creating this. It was like a new beginning of a new chapter. I moved this tank into my new home now, where I live with my beautiful girlfriend Emma, and and this tank has pride of place. And we'll sit down and we'll look at it. It's a new aquascape now, but
I was going to say, did you trim it differently when you moved in with the new girl? Is that a different?
Yeah. Well, this is a long story. It's quite a funny story for another time. When we actually moved the tank, but no, it's something that we enjoy together, and like I say, it's an expression, and and don't be shy to kind of whatever you're going through in your life, use it for even if you're having a hard time, you can turn it around into a positive thing. And it's kind of clinically proven, I think, that a fish tank will lower your blood pressure, will slow your pulse rate down. Enjoy your aquariums. Don't just stress about maintaining it. Have time to actually enjoy it. Just sit down with your partner or your kids and just appreciate it. Get them to feed the fish and just just relax. Aquascapes and planted tanks have got to be one of the most relaxing things out there, I think. Beautiful.
Beautiful, man. I couldn't agree more. And and I always say this to people, do what you do what you like, do what makes you and your tank happy,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I get asked so many questions on Facebook and the forums and Twitter. What am I doing wrong? What should I do next? How can I make this look better? You can give them hints and tips. You can give them guidelines, and but at the end of the day, it's yours. Do what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with copying something until you have enough confidence to go ahead alone and create your own style. But just go what you feel is best. And as I said earlier, the best way to learn is to practice, make mistakes, learn from your mistakes, move forward. Amano himself, says he made so many mistakes in the early years, and that's one of the reasons he's so good now. He went out there, he made so many mistakes, he learned from them, and now look at him. So that's what it's all about.
Well, we've got one more tank, and then we're going to get all your contact info, and I'm going to link up even more videos and stuff for you. And let's pull up this final one though, because I really wanted to hammer it home for these folks, this tank. And while you're pulling it up, I'll just give the introduction on it, because when I was at the AGA, George, in his polite yet aggressive British manner, said, "I challenge me. Ask me a hard question or something." And I said to him, I said, "What?" I think I might have even been the last question. I said, "What's your favorite tank? What tank means the most to you? What's your best thing ever, your favorite?" And this is the tank you showed, man. And then I really loved your story behind it. So yeah, pop that sucker up. Let's talk about it.
Okay, there we go. Apologise for the resolution, but
doesn't matter.
Yeah, so this is I called this Mother Microsaurium because obviously it's a massive Java fern, but this is a really special tank for me. This is the first aquascape I ever created, what I term an aquascape. The fern was growing in just like a jungle tank. I just started getting my head around how to grow aquarium plants without algae. I just got my head around CO2 lighting, fertilizer dosing, circulation, and all that. And this fern carried on growing and growing, and I thought, well, let's strip it down, but I'm going to keep that fern. It's amazing, it's like 18 months old, and I thought, what can I do with it? And I got some Sagittaria, which was like the plant that was available in my local fish store. And originally the layout was just literally this massive Java fern in the centre of the tank with the Sagittaria all around it. And it kind of looked quite cool, but I thought there's something wrong here. It's too central. it's too symmetrical. The Sagittarius is too tall for the foreground. What can I do to make this better? And then I had this idea of move it over to the left by a third, using the compositional guideline of rule of thirds. Keep the Sagittaria, but have it as a transition. So the fern leaves into the Sagittaria, and then have a lovely foreground of Glossy. I always wanted to grow Glossy. I'd seen these beautiful aquascapes with Glossostigma, and thought, if I can grow that, then I can grow anything. So when I was on a forum at the time, and someone kindly sent me about 40 cuttings of Glossy, and I've individually planted each tiny little sprig. I got my CO2 levels right, I got my circulation right, and my dosing, and this is what I produced, and classic shoulder of cardinal tetras, flat background, green plants, and it just all came together. I'm just like, wow, this is aquascaping. This works. This looks really cool, and you can kind of see, the style is it's me. It's quite simplistic. It's quite clean, and that's what I'm all about, really, and so it's. Yeah, this tank's special to me because it was the kind of time that I got aquascaping. Something clicked inside my head, and I thought, yeah, this is it. This is what I want to do. I love this. And actually, this tank kind of got me noticed as well in practical fish keeping. So yeah, it's a real special tank for me. It was like one of those groundbreaking moments you have in your life. Yeah.
And I love it, man, and I really wanted to talk about that too because, with having a YouTube channel, like, it's really awesome for me to see people when they kind of get to that point, they get like the fever or they get like the buzz or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Where like I watch like a beginner go from like beginner to like intermediate, and it's like starts getting it, and is having great success, and like gets that aquascape that, like, if you look at their tank like 5 months earlier, you'd be like, oh my god, and then now it's like, oh, there we go, So I really wanted to just show this and have everybody hear you say that, because you messed around with it and you kept playing and you kept working, and I mean, I don't know what it looked like before, but I mean, it obviously turned out right, and it pops for you, and it looks great, man. So I really, I really wanted to highlight this tank to show people keep messing. And another thing I'm going to hammer people with too is this is all, well, Glosso's not, but basically it's a lot of beginner plants, right? Sag,
fern. Definitely. There's fern, Anubias underneath the fern, and they've got Crinum calamostratum at the back left.
Yeah.
So really easy plants. Yeah. I mean, Sagittaria is just mental. It goes so quickly. If you can't grow that, then yeah. So this is a pretty cool tank. 2004, 2005. So about 10, 11 years old now. Yeah.
Wow. Well, beautiful, man. Well, George, listen, we're going to be doing this stuff more often, man. But how can everybody get a hold of you? How can they see more work? Give us all your social media stuff, man. Where can we find you?
Yeah, okay, so currently my Facebook is facebook.com/GeorgeFarmer225. If you just search for George Farmer, you'll probably see a picture of me and my girlfriend. It's quite obvious who I am. And I've got lots of fish keeping friends on there. So as long as you've got a mutual friend, then I'll pretty much add anyone, to be honest. I'm on Twitter at the Aquascaper. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/GF. That's G for Golf, F for Foxtrot, or G for George, F for Farmer. 225. That's pretty much it. So look out for more stuff from me in the future. I've got some really, really interesting plans coming up, and hopefully see you guys a lot more in the coming months and years.
Yeah, man. Well, we got more coming with me and you, man. So everybody click the link, subscribe to George's channel. I'm excited to just be scratching the surface with this guy. So we're having a lot of fun. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to George's channel. Everybody make it an awesome week and tank on.